welcome to the Story Class as Wrestlemania 37 review. I am your host, Dre Best, and with me is guest writer and friend of the website, The Joseph.
Yes, it is me, the one and only Joseph.
Now, we're doing this WrestleMania review, well, partly to talk about the show itself, but also as a little tie-in to your review of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver.
Yes.
So can you give us just tell us a little bit about that?
Most of the article is just me reviewing matches for Stand and Deliver. I also wanted to add in a little bit talking about NXT in general, as it's gone from being a TV show to being a counter TV show to once again just being a TV show.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So, and we'll be expecting that out soon. Even around the same time
very close to being done.
Yeah, around the same time this podcast is dropping, we'll be talking about the kind of big brother to take over WrestleMania. What was the thing they kept saying? 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day since WWE had crowds at their shows. The first big major North American wrestling event with a sizable crowd.
There were a surprising amount of people there.
Yeah, we're doing this about a week after the show. We still don't have official, real numbers, because you never trust the stuff WWE tells you. But it was a packed old looking show.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it was packed, like what we were seeing, just people shoulder to shoulder, everywhere. From what it seems like, it was like that for the area right by the hard cam, and then once you went a little farther, you had the social distance seatings.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't quite as insanely packed as I was thinking, but I was still surprised to see that they had any seating that was just normal like that.
It seems like they the tickets underperformed because it was apparently most of the crowd was on the floor.
Yes.
And then the top half of the arena, the top seats were completely tarped off.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the social distancing thing, and it was there was a lot of people, but not nearly as much as I'd imagine it's probably slightly more than what the SmackDown Raw TV tapings were.
Yeah, I know the Raymond James Stadium isn't one of the biggest ones that they've had WrestleMania in, but I know they can still get a decent sized crowd. Even I can't even make a guess for how many people were there, but I'd imagine it's probably still maybe a little bit more than an average Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. Well, though the noise was at the start, the noise was similar to one because, man, this happened this unfortunate show, right? In terms of weather, in terms of
yes.
just God hating wrestling.
Mm-hmm. God finally got his heat back on Vince, it seems.
Yeah. Day of the show, we were hearing all these reports about Florida's weather being just the dog worst. Just raining, some thunder and such.
Mm-hmm. And before the pre-show started, they had the people in the stadium had to exit into outside of the outside of the stadium part, so that because they got a lightning warning. But a little bit before the pre-show started, they were able to come back in. So I was assuming, okay, we'll be good from here. Nothing else will happen.
Yes, and so we watched this pre-show. It's misery, like they all are.
Yeah.
The show starts. Yeah, they were going to have a pre-show match. They were going to have the women's tag turmoil stuff.
I didn't know that was
pre-show.
Huh.
But then, and that was canceled when the weather came out. Then the show starts, we get our video package, the one that you've been seeing, like they replayed the video package from like Mania 36.
Yeah, a lot of it was the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get our BB Rexa performance of America, the song.
And I believe before that we had, I think it was before when Vince came out with all of the people, whether they were on the show or not, being like, welcome to WrestleMania. Let's get started.
Did you notice Jinder was in his gear?
Oh, that's sad.
What was he doing? There were some funny people out there.
Yeah.
Out there who had nothing. Though, we got because Eric was out there. Of the Viking Raiders, which is why people thought that they might be coming back. Yeah, and Vince, he just cuts a simple thank you for still being a fan. I know, honestly, I would be thanking the fans if they were still watching after
yeah,
all the programming they've put on this last year. Yeah, you better be thankful.
Yeah.
Then BB Rexa comes out. She tells America the Beautiful. And then we get another video package.
Yes.
Right? And then we cut back to the commentary and no show.
Nope.
The show's been delayed because of a weather warning. And so
the crowd has to do it again. They have to leave again.
Yeah, we're seeing the crowd just drain out and back to the thing. Everyone's getting the ponchos. You're seeing them get up and leave in real time. It's one of the most surreal starts to a pay-per-view I've ever seen.
I personally think all pay-per-views should start with the crowd leaving.
Yes.
That's the vibe I want for my shows.
Legitimately, it's unprecedented because WrestleMania is they've gone on in bad weather, they've gone on in open air, or no roof arenas, right? This never happened. And of course, it's insane that this is the first WrestleMania, and it's the first one with the crowd back.
Yeah, this isn't their first open stadium arena in Florida, and Florida has this weather a lot, from my understanding. So they're pretty lucky to not have had to do this before.
Yeah. So the show just kind of starts, but then it can't start. So everyone just goes back in their clip quick, we need all our best promos. We need Kevin.
Yes, we need
the new
Drew and Bobby.
We need Shane.
Seth.
Shane, get out there. Talk. Go and talk.
I'm overall I was pretty positive with how they dealt with the rain delay with all the promos. But the one thing I would say, why did you start with Shane?
Listen, okay. The one thing this totally shows you was, man, we could have so many good promos in WWE if we just didn't have these scripts. Because even Shane wasn't a good promo.
No.
But it was way better than your average Shane McMahon promo.
Absolutely.
Which is just intolerable. Drew comes out. I felt so bad for Drew. He's clearly so pissed that he has his match delayed because he's I finally get to have my opening match. I finally get to see the crowd, and then the fucking rain takes it from him. So when he cuts this promo on Bobby, it's I'll fucking fight you. I'll fight you anywhere. I don't care. I was yeah, I bet you actually.
I wouldn't be surprised if Drew was fuck it, we'll have the match right here, man.
So, yeah. But so, it was 40 or something minutes?
Something like that, yeah. I think my favorite part of that would probably be getting to see Michael Cole and Samoa Joe in ponchos. The final image of Samoa Joe in WWE is him in that poncho. That is his legacy.
Yup. You start off, think about it, it's like a bookend. You see Samoa Joe in his debut in NXT, and he debuts with that Def Jam Def Jam, like faux hip hop music, and then he ends it freezing his ass off in the cold in a poncho.
Yes, standing next to Michael Cole.
It's a pretty good. But
apparently, from what they said, Byron Saxton's headset just stopped working, so he couldn't even be there for that.
God, I could imagine the absolute havoc of it. But yeah, so after we hear that the show can come back on, like everyone's just dying to see some wrestling, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So we get 10 minutes of Hulk Hogan.
I didn't notice this originally because WWE does their crowd manipulation and muting, but they were absolutely booing Hulk Hogan that first night. Like,
yes.
Night 2, it becomes more obvious. But, like, there are clips of Night 1 where they are just organically all just booing Hulk. And I thought that was very, very nice.
Yeah, very nice to see that Hulk Hogan is, like, people are like, live crowds are finally getting tired of it. Because, like, everyone, like, knows Hulk Hogan sucks. And, but now that, like, the thing was, like, every time you put him out in front of people, they would cheer him.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, people are tired of it. I also think we just want to see wrestling at this point.
Yeah, they just wanted to start the show.
Which is why we got Drew coming out and then a video package. A video package of this thing. This is one
if
thing
there's
about...
ever... go ahead, man.
This is something that I've noticed, like, a lot during, like, 2020, but it's got, like, this show is such a good example of it. We need to chill out on these video packages.
Yes.
They're good.
I love the WWE video packages, man. But there's like you have them for like your most important matches in general, and like your like most important story matches, and not the first match.
Not your
you
first.
Don't start with a video package.
I don't want to see a YouTube video about it. I could put it on the what are you selling me on? I'm already watching it.
Yeah.
I just want to see the match, and they're so long.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 3 minutes at least. I remember the Bad Bunny one. I was like thinking,
oh my god, we'll get to the like beginning of the Bad Bunny stuff.
God, but yeah, this comes out, and then Bobby Lashley gets to come out, and they had a really good match. Bobby and Drew.
It was awesome. Yes.
It was. The sad thing about it was that the crowd was not nearly as loud as they should have been.
Yes, I felt by the end they got there, but at the beginning there was a little, I don't know if it was just a bit of like them were being tired, because I know having to leave and go back from your seats at those shows. Yeah, it's still raining at that point, I believe.
Yeah, it's raining. They're all like, some of them are in ponchos, all of them are like kind of like like they're cold, and they've just been like, getting to like into an arena, especially for WrestleMania. It's a long process even before like you get in, and then you're in, and it's like, it's just a rough like time.
Yeah.
So like they're coming out, and they're like kind of cheering Bob. Like they're kind of cheering both guys. Some light booing for Bobby. But these guys had like a really nice like big guy match. They're just colliding into each other. Lots of suplexes. Is one thing I want to note on this show, because it really stuck out to me, was this show was mostly completely in the ring, and I'm not sure if that was like because like the outside of ring area was kind of wet, and they didn't want to jeopardize anything. But most of this was in the ring, was just like straight in the ring, no real outside brawling, except for in this match, and I believe the main event.
That I can't remember any other outside brawling, so I think you're right.
Yeah, so they go out for a little bit, hit Bobby's throwing him around. What did you think about the finish?
I was watching with you and Carol, and Bobby got Drew into Hurt Lock, and the entire time I was like, nah, this isn't it. Drew will get out. Drew's gonna get out. It keeps slowly going down lower and more out. I'm still like, nah, he'll get out. Then he like falls to the ground. And then I'm just like hands on my head, like he's not getting out. I was very happy with that finish.
I've seen a lot of criticism because it's a distraction finish. And it's because like Drew's about to go for like the Claymore, right? And then MVP yells at him, and Drew looks away for a second, and that's when Bobby pounces on him, beats him a little bit, and then is able to get the master lock on him. And like I get that people don't like distraction finishes,
of course,
and I don't like them either. But I think I can forgive Drew turning his head slightly. I think he maybe shouldn't have started running for the Claymore and then stop for the distraction. I think all he needed was the half second where he turns his head, and then that's when Bobby runs at him. But honestly, I think it's good because like the thing that bothers me with these like distraction finishes is the babyface completely forgets what they're doing.
Yes. Whenever they get so distracted to the point where it just doesn't make sense why they're paying so much attention to this, that's when it bothers me personally.
Yeah, I think Drew stopping for a moment and being like, "No, wait, I'm in the okay," and then going for that dud Claymore works. I also like when they did like the like Bret Hart Roddy Piper thing in the like where Drew flips over and tries to pin Bobby while he's still in the submission, but Bobby is able to roll through. That's I think about that. I'm still thinking about that spot. I think it's so good, and I just really like this opener.
It's definitely one of the best WrestleMania openers. To be fair, like in terms of WrestleMania opening matches, like including this one, there's like 10 really good ones, but this is probably like one of the better ones out of those even.
Though I will say I'm not sure it should have opened.
I think. Do you think it should have main evented?
No, but I think the starting off with the I really like the decision of having Bobby go over, but I think you should start the first show with a crowd back with a babyface win, which is why I would have put Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Yeah,
that probably would have been a better opener, and then this could have gone like lower middle of the card.
Especially,
I think that problem.
You could have woken the crowd up with the Cesaro swing too. So, but yeah, I like it. I just think it's a match where I think it's just kind of like in the wrong position on the card, but I love everything about it other than that.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's time. Oh, the next match.
Oh, man.
The tag team turmoil match for the women's tag team championships.
Yes.
So this isn't very good.
We started with Naomi and Lana, sure, and then Carmella and Name Redacted. I'm not sure why they were a tag team, but all right. I guess I don't really watch SmackDown weekly, so maybe there's some storyline there that I'm not familiar with, but it seems very random.
Well, Billy Kay is trying to get, or was trying to get,
Who's
people
Billy
to accept her. Oh, I'm sorry, Name Redacted was
Yes.
trying, showing her like resume to everyone to be like their tag team partner, and Carmella accepted.
Sure.
And then they get the pin on Naomi.
After I believe I was either Lana or Billy Kay just completely whiffed on a kick, like very clearly in view. Yes, Lana almost hit Billy Kay with a kick.
There was a stretch here where it was Lana and Billy Kay trying to work with each other, They're not. They're just not very good. I like them both. They're just not very good.
Yeah.
And time is standing still.
Yeah. Like I sometimes think people maybe overstate Billie Kay not being the greatest wrestler, but oh my god, her and Lana here was pretty rough to watch.
It was really rough. Billie Kay got to pin Naomi in her hometown.
Yeah. Bye, Naomi.
It's weird how Naomi is never not over, despite everything they do.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
I don't know.
She's always over. They just hate it.
Yeah, Dana people Brooke, always like her. Yes.
Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose came out, and this. I think
this answers why people weren't fighting outside of the ring, right?
Yeah, Mandy Rose just slips and falls. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part is that not only does Dana Brooke not notice, she thinks the reason the crowd just suddenly started popping is because of how much they like that team.
Nope. No, they come in, it's marginally better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Riot Squad come out and we get some like competent stuff.
I did like Riot Squad's gear during this.
Riot Squad's gear were good. They do the Joker and Harley Quinn thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Natalya and Tamina came out, and
before that, when the Riot Squad pinned Dana Brooke, we got the excellent announcer call of the Riot Squad has been eliminated.
I did screw that up.
So how? Because this is my conspiracy theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you noticed watching the show on Peacock or the network, the screen was blacking out for a couple seconds, and that's because Dana Brooke was having gear problems.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, because Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are like considered like a more important tag team generally on the shows and whatnot. So I'm wondering if they were supposed to win, but because they're supposed to get that pin, at least I'm sure Natalya and Tamina were like supposed to win the whole match.
Yeah,
but I wonder if like Dana and Mandy were supposed to move on to the next round, but they couldn't because like even though like nothing major happened, Dana's gear, like she did have to keep holding on there. And I wonder if like the reason the announcer said like Riot Squad has been eliminated is because they were the ones who were supposed to be eliminated.
I think that's possible. Well, I definitely could see them being like, well, we need to get you out of there fast.
The reason I say that is because that's the only reason I can think for an announcer making such a like blatantly wrong call like that.
Well, we'll get one in the main event.
Well, yeah.
Michael Cole was not on his best day here because he. Yeah. I think he called like 4 things a spine buster, and when they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of like of weird stuff. The opening of this show felt so like ramshackled with like all these like major like screw ups.
Mm-hmm. And then when you got to the final 2 teams, Natalya and Tamina versus Mandy or the Riot Squad.
Mm-hmm.
First, it had an incredibly weird ending, I thought, where Natalya is just like waiting for ages to like put on the sharpshooter, and it's just standing there holding one of the Riot Squad's legs. And then decides, after waiting for so long, to tag in Tamina, who then does the splash, who then gets the pin.
They did that with their match later too. I don't know.
Yeah, they did that again.
I think she thinks it's like people want to see the sharpshooter, but she's like denying them. I don't know.
I don't know about you. I'd rather see Tamina drop a big splash like that than just a sharpshooter.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it sounds like we were talking about that match for a long time, it's because it lasted a really long time. At least it felt like it.
It was 14 minutes. It's one of the longer matches on the show. I think the fourth longest. It just was. It wasn't good. And after all the work Bobby and Drew did to like get the crowd back up, it killed it again.
Yes.
Okay, so I think was this when we got our first backstage segment?
It would have been around this middle part of the show.
Do we want to just
so
Bailey's backstage and she's annoying Titus and Hogan and
yes.
And the New World Order are out there and they're annoyed. Except for X-Pac. Like Bailey tries to too sweet everyone and they're all like, we're way cooler than that thing that we always do. And then X-Pac's like, actually I'm a really big fan and too sweets Bailey. And that's good.
I appreciated that.
So I just really like X-Pac. I want him to be just like a wholesome guy on all the shows. Cesaro and Seth Rollins?
Yeah.
There's just really good stuff.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like just a solid like 11-minute match. And it was just two really good wrestlers doing stuff that they only bust out at WrestleMania. Like we got to see a corkscrew frog splash. We got to see I don't like this knee like reversal like knee to the head from Seth to Cesaro. Cesaro got there was actually, you know what? I'm going to praise the actual like selling in this match because I think they worked a really neat story involving Cesaro's leg and not being able to do the swing. He the whole storyline is based off Seth Rollins doesn't want to be swung.
Yes.
Then Cesaro is able to swing Seth like 9 times at the start. But I think his legs bother him, so I can't swing him for more.
Yeah, he had to cut it short.
They keep going, and Seth keeps kind of working the leg and such. And eventually, Cesaro is able to get him in for a longer swing. They say he broke his record of like 22 swings on Seth. Didn't. I think he swung Seth around 18 times.
Yeah, never trust the swing counts.
Yeah. But
and
then
before that, or maybe after that, I don't remember.
He was able to finally bust out the UFO. Where he got Seth on in like a torture at the end and swung him like with no arms. It's so good.
It always looks cool when he does it. It looked cool in the pre-show of WrestleMania 36. Even cooler now.
Yes. It looked cool in his actual first singles match at WrestleMania last year.
Yes. And from what I've been hearing about SmackDown, the most recent one, they've replayed Cesaro doing that 5 times throughout SmackDown. Because, unfortunately, WWE found out that spot was cool. So they had to be like, okay, guys, but this is so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. Let's real. Why don't you watch it 18 times? Isn't that what makes something cool?
Yes.
But yeah, so like a good match. It was just good, feel good. Everyone was into Cesaro. Everyone was booing Rollins. When we got to it was just a nice bit of like wrestling that felt modern and sweet. And I was happy when Cesaro won, and it was over.
Yeah, I was really happy to see Cesaro win this.
And you know what? It was a great build to make him the number 1 contender.
Yeah.
For the winner of night 2. AJ Styles and Omos versus the New Day of Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this?
It was basically exactly what I was expecting going in, and I don't really mean that as a bad way. I was excited to see this match. It was Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston like working AJ Styles. Of course, my favorite part is Xavier yelling, "We are effectively cutting the ring in half."
Xavier is such a treasure. What?
It's so good. And then you got and then one moment I also like is when AJ's reaching to tag in Omos. Omos is like barely reaching out to him to like make it look like that he can't reach him, despite the fact that he could probably reach Kofi Kingston on the other end of the ring.
Yeah. And I really like this match, even though
it was exactly what it needed to be.
Because like there was like a weird. It's definitely weird because AJ Styles is definitely like pretty like in such a babyface position here.
Yeah.
Because he's like being worked over by two guys. He can't get to the thing. They keep cutting him off. Every time he tries to get to Omos, they stop him. But I think it worked for me here because like it made it, instead of like making the New Day feel like bullies to me, it made me feel like they were just like they're smart. They don't want Omos in. They're two small guys.
Mm-hmm. They weren't
AJ's
doing
still
anything like
yeah,
they weren't doing anything like super like outside of just the general like vibe of like tag matches of them being being in the normally heel position. They weren't doing anything particularly heelish, so it wasn't something that bothered me much.
Right, and I think the crowd was like able to get into it. Like, yes, they cheered Omos because like they're always going to, and I think, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem here because it's not. I don't think those cheers were like hurting like the New Day. They weren't booing the New Day.
No.
And I think he looked. It's very basic stuff. Like Shaq did more in his match than Omos did here.
Yes.
But it worked. Everything he did got a massive pop. He beat the New Day. He pinned former WWE champion Kofi Kingston with 1 foot.
Yeah.
Cool.
We did get a nice spot of AJ doing the phenomenal forearm off of Omos' shoulders. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I like that too. The story of this Mania is like just really, really consistently good wrestling. Like just beginning to see like AJ and Xavier in particular were just like amazing together. They were just great old TNA wrestling.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. And of course a title change, our first one of the night. I think.
Yes.
I think what like maybe the most pleasant surprise of the evening was Braun and Shane.
Really?
I thought this match was going to drain my soul.
That's a good point. I that is also what my expectations were for this match.
I thought like I was guessing that this match was going to like potentially kill the show. With how like bored everyone was. But it was, you know what? It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was also 11 minutes. We got to see Braun Strowman do a big strong thing, which is always when he's at his best, and we got to see Shane take a bump that is going to seriously affect him later in his life, which is also what he's best at.
Yeah. There was like some stuff with Elias and Jackson Riker at the start.
Oh, yeah, that part sucked.
We didn't need that. There was some brawling at the start. Didn't need that. Once they actually got on the cage wall, it was good. We got to see Shane did some like heelish stuff. I think he punched Braun with like brass knucks or something.
Something like that, yeah.
To escape, but Braun is able to rip through the cage netting and pull him in.
That looked really cool.
There was a part where they were both on the top of the cage, and I thought Braun was going to like power bomb him or do something, but no, he just threw him. And Shane does the most the most basic wrestling trainee bump, but it's off the cage, And
And
I'm just watching that. And I'm like, you're in your 50s.
Mm-hmm.
You're in your 50s. Do you see how AJ Styles tried to avoid bumps? Do that. He's so much younger than you, dude. God. But yeah, it was big and like dumb, but I got to see Braun do strong stuff. This is the best Braun's looked in a year.
Probably, yeah.
He got to be in front of a big crowd. He looked great. He took off that ugly shirt. Or he just got to yell and scream, and everyone was happy. He did it for all the stupids out there. So
yes.
And then I guess like the co-main event of the first night, The Miz and John Morrison versus Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's entrance. Actually, all the entrances here.
No. First, before like Miz or Morrison entered, we had the Bunnies enter. And this felt like it took, like, this match was 15 minutes. The Bunnies entering felt like it was also 15 minutes.
It was embarrassing.
And then...
But did you catch that Byron Saxton couldn't tell what was going on? He was like, "What? Bunnies? What does that mean?"
What are these bunny-like structures?
Dude, there was a guy in a match. It's called Bad Bunny. Whatever, dude. Okay.
Then Miz and Morrison enter. Whatever. Then we get a video package in between entrances.
Me too. This video package was so long. It felt like it was like double the length of the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole video package, and nothing. It was recapping like WWE packages can usually make bad storylines look coherent. They couldn't do anything with this.
It was just Miz and Morrison decide they don't like Bad Bunny. They fight.
It's so long, and it's just misery. And then is it Damian Priest, I think, comes out.
Yes.
And then we cut to like miles away from the arena. Becky Lynch is giving Bad Bunny a ride on her big truck. I'm kidding.
Yes.
It's not actually Becky Lynch, just some big truck. To which I stated that he looks like the villain of the hypothetical Blade 4.
Yes.
He's just surfing on the top of this truck with his leather jacket. Then he gets there and you know his song plays and everyone pops. But man, we did not need that much entrance.
So much entering.
It's this show. I swear, it was like when it finished. It was like 3 hours and 40 minutes. Some of that's like
something like that.
Some of that's like the weather interruption at the start. But man, mount video packages and just entrances. I love big dumb Mania entrances, but
of course,
if you're gonna have a like 5-minute entrance in WrestleMania, don't have a video package. Don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm looking directly at you, Triple H. You can't take 7 minutes to walk to the ring with a 4-minute video package and then doing rest holds for 20 minutes. You can't. He will. But
I have a soft spot for Triple H matches. I'm sorry.
I like Triple H matches, but you can't. He takes his fucking time, doesn't he?
It's awesome, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
you like when Triple H grabs someone's arm and holds it?
Oh yeah, man. Fucking ranking it in.
So what'd you think of Bad Bunny and the Dirt Sheet? Bad Bunny and Priest versus the Dirt Sheet.
I like this one. I obviously the big thing with this match is Bad Bunny doing things. And they were hyping up a lot before this, like, guys, Bad Bunny's gonna like do stuff. So I was like, all right, Bad Bunny better do stuff. And he did. And I was really happy with that.
So apparently the thing here was that John Morrison and Damian Priest were minorly injured. And that's why for a while this was considered was going to be a singles match for Bad Bunny and The Miz. But they were able to get just able to get cleared for this.
Yes.
So Damian Priest and John Morrison, aka the two best workers that are in this storyline, are not in the match for most of it. Damian Priest is on the apron for or like in the corner for most of this match, and it's just Bad Bunny wrestling. He's doing dives, he's doing moves, he's looking good, and it's crazy. It was crazy. Got like a huge pop for everyone. He was super over. Yes. I think he definitely the most over person other than Bianca and Sasha on the show. I think.
I'd agree. Yes.
Him and the Miz look good. You know what? This is so messed up that Miz looked better here than he has all year, considering he was WWE champion.
Yeah.
A few months ago. But yeah, everyone did the good stuff. I think the first like 4 minutes of the match were a little like slow. Maybe didn't need them.
Yeah, they had Bad Bunny selling a lot of stuff, and I appreciated that he was like doing that because celebrities aren't always willing to like get hurt or like even pretend to. But he did, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
but he did it for a while.
He did. He was just, like. It's been a good year for celebrities in wrestling. And I mean, a good 12 months with Pat McAfee, Bad Bunny, and Shaq. All of them have done really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the big thing everyone was talking about, even though it's the least impressive thing Bad Bunny did, was the Canadian Destroyer on John Morrison.
Yeah, I popped hard when I saw that.
We all popped hard, but we should all be thanking Johnny for that one.
Especially when I was like watching like replays of that, it's like, thank you, John Morrison.
You made that so cool.
He did.
And John Morrison and Miz really have to be given like a lot of credit because I think they did their job so well here.
They made his offense look great.
Yeah. Damian Priest. Unfortunately, Damian Priest, I get that he's partly injured, so it must be like he didn't get a lot of moments to shine. He didn't even get to take the pin or give the pin. He just kind of came in to be he felt like mostly just kind of like the glue. He got to run wild, do double. Wow, why is my brain short circuiting? Tag team offense with Bunny.
Yes,
Bad Bunny won, and everyone cheered. That was everything. I guess one last thing before we get into the main event, they decided they need to has this habit and on their pay-per-views, and they do it on both nights here, and they've done it a lot. Where the last two matches, they just pause the show to recap everything that's happened on the show so far, and we get backstage segments, and then we skipped over, I think, the Hall of Fame.
I don't even remember who was in which class.
Liger didn't show up. I think Captain Kirk didn't show up.
No.
They booed Hogan again.
New World Organization, brother.
Yep. That was it. But yeah, there was a stretch of 20 minutes. Legit 20 minutes in between the Shane McMahon and the Bad Bunny match.
Yes.
No good. Stop it. We like wrestling on WrestleMania.
Yeah, I have to agree.
But then we got one of my favorite matches of the entire week.
Yes.
Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. The second women's main event in Mania history. Mm-hmm. first Mania main event to have two people of color, and simultaneously the first WrestleMania to be headlined by two black women.
Yeah,
and they treated it like it was a big deal. This was the time where I thought this video package deserves its spot. It actually got me excited for this match on a storyline basis, because it totally washed away all the Reginald drama and the tag team thing. It was just these two people she's the best, she's the boss. Which one's gonna win? They're both really good.
I don't who's gonna win's a nice question and all, but I'm more interested in how they could possibly coexist.
You know what? I think that's some night 2 stuff, I think, personally. But yeah, this match felt awesome. It was,
yes,
emphasis on felt awesome. It was just before the bell rings, when we're just getting our reintroductions, Bianca is just totally in tears.
Yes.
And Sasha's trying to keep it together, but she's crying a bit too, because they're both so excited that they get to make history. And it was everyone was just so into both women. It was great to see. And the match itself, it was so
very good.
It was so good. Sasha Banks is such a good heel, and everyone says that, right? But she really made this match something special. Well, her the whole, because it's such a simple story. Bianca Belair is stronger, but Sasha Banks is a smart veteran and who's going to use Bianca's weakness against her. What's the weakness? She has the big hair. She has the long braid. She's going to keep using the braid. She's locking in submissions with it. Anytime she's losing, she yanks on the hair to get Bianca off balance or to hurt her. They're they just keep telling the story around the braid. There's a point where Sasha Banks actually gets Bianca on the outside, and we get a dive to the outside. And for once, a Sasha Banks dive doesn't make you want to cry. Belair just catched her.
Yeah.
And Sasha Banks didn't have to land on her neck
and then after she catches her, she just raises her over her head and just fucking walks up the stairs. Oh I love that.
Yeah, and it was holy shit, this is WrestleMania. Yeah,
that's the type of stuff to just that makes someone just instantly mega popular.
Yeah. Just picks her, dives on her, picks her up, chucks her back into the ring, misses her 450. They do some more work. Belair has the goofiest kick out of a 450 ever. When Banks kicks out of Belair's 450, Bianca is possessed by 50 John Cenas. So she's going for her Hamlet, trying to convince you that she thought she was going to win. There's a point where Sasha tries to pull on Bianca's hair again, and Bianca's able to catch her and just
oh god,
grabs her hair. Sasha runs at her. Bianca picks up her hair and whips the shit out of Sasha.
Was insane.
It was so loud.
It for a stadium that big, it was incredibly loud.
And you see it welt up in real time. And
oh god,
it was so dark. And so clear here. And the only time I've seen something similar to that was in her match with Shayna Baszler, but it was not nearly as long and loud.
Yes.
After that, she was able to pick her up, hit the KOD, 1, 2, 3. Sasha Banks kicked out.
Kicked out.
No, she didn't, Michael Cole. She so didn't.
Okay. Did you notice that when you were first watching? Because I didn't.
I thought when I noticed that something was wrong, I heard him say Sasha Banks, and at first I thought he said Sasha Banks won. And I was like, huh? But then when I went back, I was like, he said Sasha Banks kicked out? Dude. She didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, well, other than that,
I didn't notice it when I was watching it first.
It was like pure like pro wrestling like magic. It was just two people having a great match where everybody's into the person who we want to see win. And then they do. Ooh, and it was just great. We got to see her celebrate with her family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her dad like nearly jumps out onto the floor.
And I didn't know like that was her family at first, so I thought that was just a very excited guy, and I was like, yeah, I can relate, man.
Yeah, he, after the camera stopped rolling, Montez Ford got to come out. There was like scenes like people caught like video of like Sasha Banks being like super happy for her. It was just great, man. And night one is like, I think night one of WrestleMania is my favorite pay-per-view of the year so far.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think even and there's been some good pay-per-views this year, but I think this is my like favorite one because it just felt so unique. Even though there were like quite a few heels going over. It just felt like such a positive like evening of wrestling.
Yes.
And very different from like a normal WWE pay-per-view.
And it's just looking at night one alone, it's probably one of my favorites, but I don't think it cracks number one for me. I think it's gonna take a lot for anything to top Vengeance Day for me.
One of your favorite? Oh, for this year in terms of yeah, okay. What was Vengeance Day again?
That one had the 2 Dusty Cup finishes, which I wasn't expecting much from, but really blew me away. You had Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne, Gargano versus Kushida, and Tony Storm versus Io Shirai versus Mercedes Martinez, yes.
Yeah, that was a good show. Night two.
Yeah. You said that this was night one wasn't your typical WWE pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Night two felt like your typical WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah,
not bad or anything, but
definitely it. You know, like the contempt that you can usually feel for like WWE towards fans, right?
Yes.
That wasn't such like I didn't really feel that night one. Night two, on the other hand, definitely felt like
it was there.
Here are you fuckers. So we got thankfully no like weather delay or anything. The show to start. We got another different America the Beautiful by someone.
Yeah.
And then we got
yes.
One of my most anticipated matches.
Well, no, was it before this? We had another Titus Hulk segment.
Oh, we did.
They came out dressed as pirates. And it seemed after night one, the crowd got on like, okay, we're booing Hulk Hogan. And even though the WWE censors did their best, you could tell. It was intense booing for Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Maybe not the most intense booing of a Hulk Hogan segment. Another one would come later.
Yes.
But it was very obvious, and what made it more obvious is you can tell the fans, just so the fans can make their point clear, we're cheering Titus.
They were cheering Titus and because booing Hulk Hogan. And it's great because this is kind of the kind of thing that he is going backstage and he's going up to Vince and he's like, they're booing me, bro. And like he must be so upset.
That sounds nice.
It's a really nice idea. Yeah, but yeah, the pirate, them dressed as pirates. Oh man, I like Titus.
I do too.
Don't do that. But yeah, we got most anticipated match for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna just take the reins here.
Go for it.
Yeah. So we get Randy Orton. He comes out in white, looking kind of snazzy.
Yeah, I like the white.
Yeah, I liked it too. So same colors that Edge wore. And then Alexa Bliss comes out.
Yes.
And then she's walking, and we're like, okay. Then suddenly there's a structure. It's kind of like box-like. It was a box-like structure, according to Byron.
It was something like. Was that something that Byron said, or was that something like he was told to say?
I don't know, but he called the big evil Jack in the Box a box-like structure.
It's a great meme. Like in that sense, I really enjoyed box-like structure.
And then Alexa gets to it. The camera's looking up her skirt. Awesome, cool. Thanks for that. Then she turns it, and then the Fiend pops out, and everyone cheers.
It was a very cool entrance for the Fiend.
Well,
I liked him slowly rising to his very cool theme song. Okay. I really liked that part.
He's no longer the burnt Fiend, and he has a new mask. He looks like the old guy. The new mask isn't as good looking as the old mask.
No.
Then they start wrestling, and the red lights are still up.
Yes.
And it's like, this is we all had a great time, and then it was such a clear message. This one's for us, baby. This tonight for us. We're bringing out the red light. This red light will get over. No matter how many times we try and fail, it will. And so they're just wrestling. And after everything this feud had, it's not a hardcore match or anything. They just wrestle for a minute.
They're just wrestling for a while. Apparently, it was never even like a part of the plan to have this be like a Firefly Funhouse. It was always meant to be a match for some reason.
They're doing nothing. Bray's pulling out some oldies.
We got a good Brody Lee moment.
Oh, he did a Brody Lee tribute. But Bray teases Sister Abigail. He's about to hit it.
Yeah.
Then he looks up, and instead of the schoolgirl outfit, Alexa Bliss is dressed like Sister Abigail, I guess, and she has black goo over her face.
She has some motor oil that Randy Orton's been coughing up.
Yes, and that's like legitimately squirting out of her face.
Yes.
And she's wearing a crown, and Bray's all distracted. And then Randy hits one RKO and pins the Fiend. It's awesome. It's just awesome. It's just this. He just hits one RKO and it's over.
And like before that, the Fiend was doing his like stupid no-sell thing. Like Orton hits his DDT and Fiend gets up and all the other stuff. But for some reason, Randy pulls out the most powerful RKO ever, more powerful than like 50,000 stomps.
I thought that we were going to see this match. When I thought, like, it's a wrestling match, I guess Randy's winning with a punt.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to punt him. Because if that's going to be like a thing that like beats the Fiend, right? The punt, that makes sense. No, it just hits that one move that people kick out of. Like, people kick out of RKOs. Like, yeah, it's a protected move, but
yeah, it's not that level of protected.
So he spins,
and
everyone boos.
See, people are booing like that at first. My favorite part of this match is Fiend gets up. Him and Alexa Bliss are looking at each other. The lights go out. They're gone. Crowd boos even more.
It's so fucking funny, dude.
And from what we saw on the Raw after Mania, that might be it. They might do their own thing now.
Yeah, I guess this storyline's over. Awesome. Randy Orton got to beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania again. We were watching with a Bray Wyatt fan. He was very upset. He was very upset.
It was. I felt bad.
I was too busy laughing.
You were.
So, we start the show off with a heel win where everyone's booing. Okay, what do we do? Well, it worked out so well last night. Let's do a women's tag match.
Yeah!
Natalya and Tamina versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I want to say something before we get into this.
Sure.
I didn't think it was as bad as people said.
No.
I thought it was fine. People were into Tamina and Nia.
Somehow.
I don't know why. I think the internet irony has finally gotten Tamina over.
Maybe.
That being said, it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. I was probably I probably didn't. I like this match a little less than you, but I still overall agree. Apparently, from what I looked up in this show, is this segment was given 12 minutes from including like entrances and stuff. The match itself went 15.
Oh.
So apparently they went over time by quite a bit.
Well, when the match is just that good.
When you have the rivalry of the ages with Tamina and Nia Jax,
you can get away with it.
You have to. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's not great. But, I think no, there's nothing really to say. It shouldn't have gone that long. People were into Tamina. I kind of wish that Natalia and Tamina won.
Yeah, I do too.
Variation. I want this title reign to be done with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not good. Not good stuff.
Here's my biggest problem. My biggest problem with this match I want to mention really quick. Where the hell was Reginald?
There wasn't any.
For real, I believe he was sick or something. I don't know if it was COVID, so he couldn't show up for the show. Hope he's all right. Yeah, but Reginald is the most important story in the entire women's division. Why wasn't he in WrestleMania?
I don't know. That's weird. But I hope he recovers. I want to know the kayfabe reason why he wasn't there. So the show is capitalizing on all its goodwill.
Yes.
With Logan Paul. In what's been an eventful fucking week for the Paul brothers.
Yeah.
For good and ill. Mostly ill.
Yeah.
Logan Paul came out with it's just sat at ringside, didn't really do anything.
Yeah, camera kept cutting to him.
Yeah, you got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It was good.
9 minutes of that. That was good.
I liked it.
As I said, they cut to Logan a little too often, but sure, I get it.
Yeah, I was kind of. There was, it's a good match, but there wasn't. It's just them kind of playing the hits. They do all their Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn things. They do a few. They pull a few things out from the indies. And it's done. There's not. It's weird. I don't have anything to say about this match. It's kind of it takes the same position as Seth Rollins Cesaro, but I think it just feels less special, despite the fact that we actually have seen these people wrestle less recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, it was good. Good. Everything about it, how it was fun. I think just like at this point, like the show was not off to a good start.
Yeah, this was not, after those first two matches, this was not the time to bring out Logan Paul for me.
Yeah. So yeah, Kevin Owens wins. Sami Zayn's defeated. He accidentally asked Logan Paul. Logan Paul pushes him. Gets massively booed because everyone hates Logan Paul, as they should.
Yeah.
They try and do like the Steve Austin thing where two baby faces are hanging out, and then like Austin and some other baby faces are like, "Yeah, we did it, dude," and then Austin stuns him. But everyone's just booing Logan.
Yeah, like we all know where this is going. We all just want to see the stunner.
Yeah. Pretty bad sell on the stunner. Sheamus versus Matt Riddle. Well,
yeah, just Riddle.
This match fucked.
This was very good, yes.
I don't like Riddle for many reasons, but this match ruled. It was just two dudes lumping each other.
Yes.
Or a lot of good MMA stuff from like Riddle. Well, a lot of great power spots from Sheamus. The only thing here was that they had a scary looking botch. Where Sheamus was going to do like the like air raid crash thing on Riddle from like the top rope, but he set it up in a weird spot where he had to kind of climb the ropes more to do it, and they just kind of fell. He covered for it by just like, because he was able to hold on to Riddle and then just do the air raid crash on the floor, and then went up for like a big leg drop or knee drop. So he covered for it well, but I felt bad because he should have been able to, I wanted him to be able to get that big.
That would have looked very cool.
Though a great finish where Matt Riddle goes from like the rope, like moonsault, and Sheamus just big boots in midair, like Adam Cole and Ricochet. Okay, and
that looked amazing.
He busted up Riddle's jaw. Riddle's bleeding from the mouth. Pins him. Takes his cell. The fella's officially a feller again.
Let's go.
It was just that really shifted the tone of them. It was like the match the show needed. It was just two dudes hitting each other there, and everyone was happy with it. And thankfully, one of the best things about this Mania, it just kept like the matches are short. You just get everything you need, and then they're out of there. Well, and it would have had a really nice pace if they just didn't have so many freaking video packages and ads. But if you took out those video packages, this show would be so snappy. I hate the next match a lot.
I almost don't want to admit it to myself, but this was not very good.
No. Big E and Apollo Crews. This had the best build to this show.
Yes. On this Not either this or the main event.
Dude. They come out and this Nigerian drum fight where they have a bunch of non-drums that aren't from Nigeria. They have they have a Chinese gong.
But I was like,
coincidentally, the only drum used during this match. They get 6 minutes.
Yeah, I was so ready to just be like, all right, no matter what happens, I'm gonna see someone's head go through a drum. And not only does that not happen, the drums are never used.
Drums are never used. Don't even get like thumped with one.
Why would you do that?
This has to be the match that fell victim to Nia and Baszler going this match went 7 minutes.
6 minutes 49 seconds.
It was just a hardcore match.
Yeah.
They hit each other with kendo sticks. They hit each other with kendo sticks. They hit each other with chairs. These two dudes are doing like nothing of thing. It's just like these guys are so good, and they could have a really great match and have because they've wrestled a ton. But it's just this like boring ass hardcore match where they're just hitting each other with kendo sticks, not using the gimmick at all.
I love kendo sticks, probably more than most people. But when that's all you use, and when like this unique weapon that like we've never seen before is there, it just feels like nothing.
I think someone big boots a gong or something.
Yeah, that's all the gong gets used for. You don't really get a like hit with the gong.
And you know, like in Biggie's hometown. Oh, Biggie got a big special entrance with Wale too.
That was cool.
In his hometown loses because Daba Kato, the guy who the guy they pretend has never shown up on WWE before.
It was a new person.
Shows up and beats him up because it's no DQ, which means anyone can run in, I guess. And he powerbomb or like he does something to Biggie, and Apollo covers him. So great.
Thanks, Captain Aziz.
So, do we need this trope again? Oh, heel with tall guy. How many people have this? Elias has this.
Yes, AJ has this.
AJ
Dakota Kai has this.
Dakota Kai had it. I don't like. You can keep saying it's Shawn Michaels and Diesel. I don't care anymore.
Chad Gable has that with Otis.
Chad Gable has it. Oh god, it's boring. It just means I'm going to get a bunch of and like Roman Reigns even has like a dude. He has Jey Uso coming in and cheating in his matches, and it's like that's different. That's the thing that's actually earned. But like I'm so sick of this, and they debut them in the same way too. This is legitimately the same finish as the Dakota Kai Tegan Nox match.
Absolutely.
Raquel debut. It's infuriating, and especially when these two if you just take out the gimmicks and just let them like wrestle and like let Apollo be the heel and let Biggie sell hell and everything, it would be a great match.
Yeah.
I'm really upset that I have to say it's like my least favorite match on the show, despite the Randy Orton thing being so bad.
I have to say, Orton Fiend was the worst match of night 2. It's just everything about it was just terrible. Like, as much as I enjoyed watching it, it was still terrible.
I'm not sure I could cut it that way. Like, I'm not sure I could be as hard at it as I am for this, because at least this had no excuse to be bad. Let's get some video packages in. Let's plug our merch. Let's recap the entire show. And you know what? Why don't we have a nice segment with our beloved guest host?
Yay!
Hogan and Titus. So they come out to do nothing, to get booed. No. And then Bayley comes out. And the thing we've been skipping over is Bayley's been having these intermittent segments where she's like trying to get, or she's pissed that she doesn't have anything to do with Mania. I'm there with her. She comes out.
Yeah, everyone is.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, Bayley should get something to do. So the speculation was that she was going to do a ding dong hello, and Becky Lynch was going to show up.
Yeah,
that was because Becky Lynch was also like teasing that she would show up. Instead, she just comes out. Titus and Hogan are rude to her.
Yes. And at this point, the crowd is no longer like cheering for Titus. They're all on with Bayley.
Yeah. Bayley tells them to hit some pyro for her. And it's amazing because Bayley's amazing.
Yes.
Everyone's cheering. And then everyone waits for the entrance.
What you can't touch.
The Bellas come out.
They get maybe like the biggest heel pop of the night.
Yeah, because they just went into the Hall of Fame, so they beat Bayley up for no reason, throw her down the ramp, and then pose with Titus O'Neil and the Racist. and
Can you
everyone.
think of any good? Can you think of a good Bella Twins match?
Listen, I thought the Nikki's match with Ronda was good.
That's a good shout out, actually.
Yeah, I'll say that's good. I remember there was a Riot Squad match that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Not the one where Brie concussed Liv. There was another one that was good. They're apparently going to get another match at some point this year. I'm not sure why Becky wasn't here because she was at the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess she didn't feel comfortable coming out. That was a total miss. It's just completely tone deaf. Just completely tone deaf. Like Bayley deserved so much more.
I don't know if they thought people were going to cheer the Bella Twins, but of course they're not going to cheer the Bella Twins next to Bayley.
Like another thing to kind of like, this show is so weird with how much it misunderstands its audience, which I guess is WWE as a whole, but it was blatant here. Hall of Fame stuff, we don't care.
Sure.
Rhea Ripley and Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I really liked it.
I thought it was good.
I don't really get why there's so many people who think this match is really bad.
Yeah, a lot of people whose like wrestling opinions, even if I don't agree, I understand, really didn't like this. Don't get it.
The build is, I think most people are kind of blinded by the build because the build sucks.
Yes.
And it doesn't, and like, unlike like Sasha Banks and Belair, it doesn't really have anything to like elevate it. Like the significance of the match doesn't really like elevate it like it did for the Sasha Banks match. They really were stiff with each other. They did some crazy spots. Asuka DDT'd Rhea to the outside.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
Lots of good suplexes. Because Asuka just did her was she Asuka's one of the best wrestlers in the company. And
yes,
Rhea Ripley
as much as they
really good.
As much as they don't want you to believe it, she is.
And you know what? I'm feeling it wasn't blow away. There were plenty of matches better than it. It wasn't better.
No.
It wasn't better than Cesaro Seth. It wasn't better than Banks Belair. It wasn't better than like Sheamus Riddle. But I'd say I liked it more than Kevin Owens Sammy.
Yeah, it was probably what else did we have? It was probably the best match we had so far on the show when it happened.
Well, I think Sheamus Riddle was still better.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
But I think it was good. And a good result. Well, Rhea Ripley won. The thing is, they did make Rhea a heel on Raw.
That is weird.
When really this could have just been a babyface match. What it should have been, right, is Asuka Bayley, like from TakeOver. That's what this should have been. With Asuka in the Bayley position of being like she just can't put away this new challenger. There was kind of a lack of intensity, but I don't know. I think people are way too hard on this match. I think it's really good. Check it out. For anyone who didn't I urge you to watch it again with kind of adjusted expectations. All right, more video packages, more entrances. 3 of them.
I like the video package for this match.
Yes, I did too. We have the main event, the triple threat for the Universal title, with Daniel Bryan and Royal Rumble winner Edge versus the Universal Champion Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso in his corner. In what some people are saying is one of the best Mania main events of all time. I've been hearing a lot of people say that. What did you think?
It was a really good match. I don't think it's definitely one of the better main events, WrestleMania main events.
I would agree.
I enjoyed it a lot. I personally really liked the ending of Roman pinning both of them at the same time. I loved seeing Daniel Bryan and Edge have the double yes lock onto Roman. That was great.
I liked a lot of the drama in this match. The kind of like two challengers felt like Edge and Daniel Bryan looked awesome here, especially Edge. Actually, Edge looked great here. This is absolutely Edge's best like look since he came back.
Probably,
definitely, like unquestionably his best match since coming back. He's fully back.
Yes.
This like Daniel Bryan was like kind of like the glue. Everyone wanted him to win.
Yeah.
There was lots of like good like brutality. Kevin Dunn was out of his fucking like mind during this match. Can we agree? This match, he was like possessed by something. He is cutting everywhere. There are points where it's like legitimately hard to watch how bad the camera cuts are. And I think this maybe this is like just like the booking of the shows where I feel like ever so slightly like emotionally uninvested in it. I wanted Bryan to win a lot.
I did as well.
And I was really into like them having to get Jay out of the match.
Yeah.
Beat him out. The double yes lock spot is like one of the best spots of the weekend. And there's just like, and it's really good, but there's a part of me that's keeping me from it. From like adoring it in the same way that I adored the main event of night one. I think that is because Roman wins. Roman, they can, people start like concertoing people. Initially, it's like you think Edge is going to win, and then Roman's able to make his comeback. He concertos both. He is able to like firmly and definitively beat both Bryan and Edge. He gets both of their shoulders on the mat. He's very careful with that pin, so it's so you know that he won.
Yes,
and it's such a great scene. It's such a super villain move. He has taken out two people. He looks like unstoppable. I didn't like it.
No, I liked it.
I think it's awesome, right? It's some of the strongest like booking I've seen in a long time. But there's a Lance Storm tweet.
He does a lot of good of those.
Yes, every main roster title other than the SmackDown Women's title is held by a heel.
Yes,
every single one.
Yes.
It's too much. There were too many heels like winning, and especially on night two. The last 4 matches were all heel victories. Actually, it wasn't. Sheamus, Apollo, Rhea, Roman. Yes, last 4. Kevin Owens was the last babyface to win, and actually the only babyface to win.
Yes, the only one.
That's a fucking downer. And maybe if the rest of the show had all these babyface wins, and then you end it with this like the big Triple H ending, I like to call it. But like at this point, I was like, I really just want to cheer. If Bryan had won, it would have felt much better.
Yeah, I think when I look at it, I see that as more of a thing, like an issue with the rest of the show and not this match. Because I think Roman winning was for this match the right call. However, like for instance, Rhea Ripley, she should have won, but she should not be a heel.
Piggy should have won.
Yeah.
Though I guess like it's Apollo's first match after turning heel, but like, like don't book yourself into that corner. But Piggy should have won in his hometown with the Wale entrance.
Yeah.
And we should have had the Riot Squads win on this show. The Fiend definitely should have won.
Of course.
Kevin Owens, right call. I think Sheamus should have won. But I'm also, I don't like Riddle, so.
No, I agree. Riddle has not been a good U.S. champion, and Sheamus has been very good this last stretch of time. So
yeah. So, but I think it set it's completely opposite reaction. When I finished night one, I was buzzing. I was like, oh, I want to talk about this show. I love the show. I want to rewatch the show. When I finished night two, I was like, well, that was a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a map one.
It's a very interesting dynamic between the two nights.
It's
whenever you have these 2-night pay-per-views, there's always going to be there's usually one show that's better than the other. Like with Wrestle Kingdom, that happened. With Stand and Deliver, night one of that show was probably a lot better than night two. But I still liked both nights. With this show, it just felt like a really big contrast between nights, even more so than those other examples.
Yeah, it was stark. But I still really like this WrestleMania as a whole.
This was a good WrestleMania.
Part of it is being able to see the full crowd back. Whether that's a good thing or not, I will find out how much damage the show did later.
Yeah.
It felt big, and night one was WWE at its best, the kind of stuff that WWE could be. It's one of those. Night one of WrestleMania is one of those infuriating shows that reminds you how good WWE could be consistently. If they could do this every week, but they don't. And night two was here's WWE, and it's there's some good stuff. There's a lot of disappointing stuff, and there's a lot of confusing stuff. What would you give it out of 10?
Oh,
give us each night individually, and then everything together.
Oh, each night, night one, I would probably give a 9. Night two would be maybe a 6. And maybe even a 5. And then I think overall I would probably go for a 7.
I would say night one I'd probably give either an 8 or a 9. I'm probably leaning towards 8. Night two I'd give probably a 4. Yeah. And overall, I think it kind of shakes out to a 7.
Okay.
I think it was a good show. Most of the time, whenever we get a big WWE pay-per-view with an NXT takeover, it's usually a blowout. But I think night one of WrestleMania was better than I think night two Stand and Deliver. I think that
maybe.
I think as a show it was just a lot more consistently fun. But yeah,
night two of Takeover did take a little bit for me to get into it, but I can understand what you're saying.
And I think it was a pretty solid WrestleMania week. We watched most of the wrestling programming.
Well,
we didn't. We watched a lot of the WWE programming.
Yeah. I decided to watch every single TV show they had that week.
So, NXT UK.
Yes, and 205 and their greatest show main event.
So, which one was the best? What was the best show
of
the week?
Well, that week it was NXT because that was Takeover night one. But besides that, probably NXT UK because that one also had a Walter title defense against someone whose name I forgot, but it was very good.
Yeah, and so those are our thoughts on WrestleMania and a little bit of our thoughts on WrestleMania week as a whole.
Yeah,
I had a good time. I hope you did too, Joseph.
I think I did.
It was it was a good week of wrestling, I'd say. Hey,
Yeah,
followed by
I'll
a
say that.
very bad week for wrestling.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Why? I just.
Yeah. So, Joseph, could you give us one more plug for your article?
Yes, I will be getting my Stand and Deliver review out for probably very soon, especially when this episode is finished and released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That was Joseph. I am Dre Best.
Hello.
This was the StoryArc. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.